It is time for our video game news. In this segment, we share the best headlines from the week in the gaming industry. And obviously, because E3 was happening, there was a lot of E3 Coliseum chats with Mr. Jeff Keighley. Was doing a lot of interviews with people of all types. He interviewed Elon Musk and Todd Howard. He interviewed Cyberpunk 2077 people. He interviewed all kinds of people, including Phil Spencer. And there was a big, long talk with Phil Spencer on Xbox Scarlett, the future of Game Pass, and many, many other things. But there's a few interesting tidbits in here that I wanted to talk about. Oh, actually, this was a interview at Giant Bomb. But Jeff Keighley also did a lot of interviews with people. That was kind of interesting. But in this interview, he talked about how obviously they want Xbox to be number one, but at the same time, they want to work together with everybody else because it's important for them to work together. And that's why they did their partnership with PlayStation to announce that, hey, we're going to work together on streaming. And that's why they're bringing Nintendo or their games to Nintendo platforms, because they want to be friendly with them. And that's also why they're bringing Nintendo games out of the Xbox store and bringing them on Steam. So they're like, let's work with everybody, because in the end of the day, it's still going to help put us further on top, I think, is their kind of game plan. But also we got to be friendly and reduce the friction between everybody. And then he talked about Project Scarlett not being the last console. Everybody's like, oh, this is the last console generation. There's going to be no more consoles after this. He's like, no, it's not true. There is going to be more consoles after this, and we're going to continue to push the envelope with these things. He said that Project Scarlett is rumored to be the overarching name of Microsoft's next-gen console strategy, comprising both a high-end system, codename Anaconda, and a lower-spec model, codename Lockhart. So this Project Scarlett really wasn't a console that they were talking about. They were talking about the future architecture. And in that E3 press conference, they were mostly focusing on Anaconda's system in that announcement. So that means that there's windows of stuff. But the concerning thing is that with President Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on electronics made in China, that could affect not only this console, but also the Switch consoles that were in development that are being made, could affect the pricing of that and or delay the production of that until that changes, because that's a huge tariff that is expensive as shit.
That's probably why we didn't hear anything about it.
I think so. I really wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So Nintendo actually moved their production of the Switch to Southeast Asia to avoid the Chinese tariffs. So that sucks for China too, because they just lost out on business, but they're also a behemoth of people. So, but Project Scarlett is going to support all 4 generations of systems and thousands of games. So they talked a little bit about xCloud, right, which is a new game streaming service. And he said it's still a number of years away from streaming becoming the most popular and prevalent way to play games. But they did a mention in the conference of your console like being the hub, the device that's like the stream device of whatnot. So he says something which is kind of akin to like an Elon Musk idea, because Elon Musk wants to make it to where your car basically works for you when you're not using it, so that it goes out and basically picks people up and becomes like a rideshare service when you're not running it. It just charges itself. It knows. It goes to charge itself.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But Spencer said that he sees a number of possibilities when Xbox streaming takes off, one of which involves users being able to rent their systems to act as streaming boxes for other people. So he's like, there could be a way where people could theoretically let strangers rent their box to stream when the user is away. So, for example, if somebody connects to the streaming service and you activate that on your system that allows that to happen, somebody could stream from your console their game to wherever they are. So they're kind of not only using their server architecture, but also your local architecture, maybe to help improve the connection, because you might be closer to the said person than the data center might be. And they could kind of like offload some of the heavy lifting to the local console and then use that to support them, and potentially could give you money by offering up that resource.
That's cool. That's really cool. I just don't see how it's going to work long term. What if you come back? It's like, hey, this person isn't playing right now. So another person's going to stream for 3 hours, but you're only gone for an hour. You ran to the store, came back, and you turn on your console. Now you're going to use it. Does that connectivity drop? Does it switch to someone else's console? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it probably bounce around to just the other. I just
feel like
what it would do is it probably wouldn't necessarily affect the connectivity problem. It would probably just affect the resource usage of like it would then offload more data usage to the main data center at that point, as opposed to
I feel like
minimizing that off of your system.
Something's going to change. Like whether it's the quality of the stream, it's going to go down for a second and come back up because you have to switch that signal. That just doesn't seem like it'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an issue. You want something that's going to be steady and consistent, obviously. So I like to see how that works. If it works, great, man. That's awesome. Like that is some great technology right there.
Right.
So
yeah,
my only concerns.
Yeah.
SCTO, this podcast.
I mean, that's kind of how torrents worked back in the day. That's exactly the function.
Right.
Is that you went to download a file, but yeah, you would have that issue because if one of those host computers dropped out, then it would like fluctuate the bit rate a little bit. Right. It wouldn't like disconnect you, but it would definitely affect the speed at which you were gathering data back while it found another source to pull that data from.
Exactly.
So it could be a concern, but I don't know. Maybe they're able to architecture a way to where it doesn't have a noticeable drop, and that would be
it's very possible.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But yeah.
So some of the stuff he said here, how like they just want to work with people. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like Xbox knows it lost that console war. I think when the Kinect was announced and they forced Xbox One users to have it and people just were outraged, they were obviously creating a bunch of tech, a bunch of exclusive games for this piece of hardware that they thought would be the next generations of gaming, and all of that crumbled to the ground. And so I think they rushed. I think it's kind of evident to see.
Oh, you mean like they were building stuff that was reliant on the Kinect, basically?
Exactly. Their first-party games were going to be all Kinect-based. They were super pumped about that. I don't know if you remember that. It's been so long now, everyone's kind of forgot about the Kinect. And I think they kind of rushed to get these first-party games out that were more traditional to like what Microsoft or PlayStation's bringing us. Yeah. Right. And PlayStation already knew like this is what gaming is, you know. And that's what I enjoy about first party titles is I feel like that is rewarding the fans with putting the time and the effort and resources into making something amazing that you can remember, such as Halo, which has been a staple for Microsoft since it came out. And it just kind of sucks that they're kind of pushing away from that, I feel like. So Dreamcast guy tweeted this out. The rumors that Microsoft tried to get the Master Chief Collection on PS4 is super fascinating to me. It shows two big things. Microsoft just wants to sell awesome games to everyone, and next gen will likely have very, very few Xbox exclusives, if any at all. Obviously, it's just a rumor, but if that is true, and I can see that being true, the way that they're pushing the Xbox to the Switch, I can see them opening up their library to everybody. At this point, you've kind of lost the console war. You don't have any first-party exclusives that are worthy of people wanting to buy your hardware to begin with. Just my opinion. That's the way I see it. And if they're not going to have any exclusives, I think that's really sad to see, honestly. Because I feel like, again, that's rewarding your player base. You get people something that they love, and they give you a bunch of money for it because they enjoy what you've given them.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of. I mean, I'm not saying that Nintendo or Microsoft's going to fail. I think what they're doing is good, and it's probably a good way to switch gears at this point. But it's just sad to see that they may not make any more exclusives. We didn't see really any exclusives minus the new Halo Infinite, Gears 5. But those are just staples, and I don't think they'll ever stop making those at this point.
I don't think it's going to hurt them. I don't think they've lost. They may have lost the console war, but they haven't lost the game war. Because I think they're now more stronger than they've ever been in this community. Because now, I mean, they've got their systems in every market. They have their games and their libraries and their content. They're working to get it in every possible place that players play games. They're on the Switch. They're on Steam. They're about to be maybe working with PlayStation stuff. They're on your PC, they're on your Xbox. All of these things are there. And with their acquisitions with the Xbox Game Studios, I could foresee them. No, maybe they won't. Maybe this is how they're going to push more console exclusivity. But I could see them with Xbox Game Studios releasing those games to PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, and making all of those titles. So now, yes, they don't have exclusivity anymore, but they're making games that everybody's buying, regardless of what platform it's on. And when you open that game up, you have Sea of Thieves, Rare, and then Xbox Game Studios back to back. So like that brand is going to stay alive. And then you'll still probably have people that are going to be buying the console for they don't want to buy a PC. So they buy an Xbox with Game Pass and they have access to thousands of games. And the only thing they miss out on is the PS4 exclusives or the PlayStation exclusives, but everything else is open to them. And they might even be able to then get PC games that will then carry over. Like Age of Empires might then now pop up over here because they've already built that architecture in place.
Right.
So there's a lot of potential in that regard. So I think they're just approaching it a different manner. I think they've given up on maybe the console war. I mean, they say they want to be number one. And this might be the way, in their mind, they can be number one. Like, they may not have the exclusivity in the games, but they could have exclusivity in the market.
Exactly.
As far as, like, revenue share.
Right. It's funny because everything we're saying is exactly what we were saying about Nintendo before the Switch launch.
Yeah.
It's like, if they cannot make a console that's worthy of, playing on, they're going to have to make games and then let that be on all the other consoles.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to see Microsoft going that way. And, I like being a fanboy because I have some pride. Obviously with PlayStation, like, fuck yeah, I have a PlayStation. Look at all these awesome games they're giving me. Yeah. Fuck yeah, I have a Nintendo Switch. Look at all these awesome games that they're giving us. Like, that's true. I like having that hardware and being proud of, what they've made and what I can play on. Yeah. Because like when I play Octopath Traveler or like Breath of the Wild, I'm like, I'm having a good experience with this console.
And you associate with that brand more.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's just sad that I can't do it with Xbox anymore.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. It's difficult now because it's less and less like, I'm a PlayStation guy because of The Last of Us. And you can name the things why you're associated with that. With Xbox right now, I got my gamer score. I got Forza, which is a strong title. But not a whole lot left that's killing it. Right. I will say I did turn up, because I was playing Forza Horizon 4, I did turn on my console the other day, finally, my Xbox One for the first time in a long time.
Nice.
And they've updated the UI significantly to where it's actually, like, I am impressed. Like, it actually works really well.
Nice.
It's still a little slow in moving through some of the menus, but they cut out a lot of bullshit that they didn't need. There's only 4 tabs at the top now. You got home, you have store, community, and Game Pass. And then those are your options. And if you want to get to the store, you can get to the store from anywhere by pressing your Xbox button, and it pops out a quick menu, and the store button is right there next to the home button. So you have home, store, and then whatever most recent game you were playing. And it's just like quick navigation through everything. So they've done a good job with that. I wish they would apply those same effects to the PC version of it, because that's still kind of wonky. But I haven't upgraded to the new Xbox app yet, so maybe they did fix that problem.